And so here comes this collision. But more than being Egypt against Israel, it was also, and look at this, it was God's people versus Satan's people. That's what Exodus is all about. It's God's promise that I'm going to make the seed of Israel become the Messiah. Remember? That's what God promised to Eve, that someday her seed would crush Satan. That's all of redemption. That's the whole story of redemption. And Satan knew that, and he looked, and there goes Abraham, and he watched, and there's Isaac, and now Jacob. Now he's got 12 sons. We'll get him down here in Egypt, and we'll kill all the firstborn sons. When you kill all the firstborn sons, what do you lose? You don't have Jews anymore. You've got half Jews and the other half Egyptians, right? You get the idea? He was going to destroy the Israelite nation. And so just as that Pharaoh, the oppression, whose name was Thutmose III, and if you go over there, you can go through his temple, or through his tomb, that Pharaoh says, kill all the firstborn sons. And just when that happened, God raised up Moses, protected him. Remember the little ark and the bulrushes and the whole thing? And his daughter's name was Hatshepsut, and she was a very powerful woman, and she took him out of the water. Says, I want one of these Hebrew boys. I'm going to raise him for my own. And God used Satan's people to do God's work. She didn't know that she was raising the one who's going to deliver the children of Israel. Thirdly, we have God's power versus the kingdom of darkness. We have one 80-year-old man and his brother against all the magicians, all the necromancers, that's people who communicate with the dead, all of the people that are involved in the witchcraft of Egypt. We've got an army, actually legions of priests. Remember I told you that the temple of Amun-Re, just the wall around it was 40 miles long? Do you know how many priests there were? One of the largest bodies of water in Egypt is the cleansing pond. When you're on a tour, it takes you about an hour to walk around the thing. It was the largest pool I've ever seen. And that's where they would go down and wash themselves, these thousands of priests. But it was God's power against the kingdom of darkness arrayed. It was two 80-year-old men against Pharaoh, his armies, and the entire religion of Egypt. It was shy Moses. Remember, Moses says, I can't talk. God says, send Aaron. Remember, when God called to Moses from the burning bush, Moses said, here am I, Lord, send Aaron. You know, he was really a willing missionary. Proud Pharaoh against shy Moses. The whole plan of redemption against the whole plan of the rebellion. That's what's shaping up. You see why Exodus is so exciting? I mean, you don't get it any clearer than the book of Exodus. You have God, who looks pitifully small, and two 80-year-old men. You've got Satan with all of his armies and his priests and his magicians, and they've got their swords, and they've got all their temples and their pyramids, and it looks like they're going to just mow down Moses. But they don't. Let's examine the plagues in the light of the worship of all the Egyptian gods. The captors of the captive Jews were proud of their false worship, and God is about to humble them. This God was the prime God, and the reason God made it dark in the ninth plague was he wanted to tell them that God, who is light, struck the heart of all Egyptian religion, and their worship of the sun god was false, and their sun god was powerless, and his legions of priests that overflowed the largest of all the temples, the temple of Amun-Re, were powerless. And Ra's wife Mut, and his son Cones, and Hathor, the goddess who controlled the sky, and Horus, who was the son of Ra. No one could undo what God had done. And Isis and Osiris, who watched over the afterlife, were watching over it in darkness, because God alone gives the true light to guide people to his truth.